Buongiorno, happy Sunday. Welcome to Cook With Me by Rosalba, another edition. Guess what we're doing today? We're doing meatballs. So I've already pretty much kind of measured everything out. Here is my ground pork. On the label it said 1.39 kilograms of ground pork. And I've got 1.5 cups of grated Parmigiano Reggiano and 1.5 cups of breadcrumbs that I grated myself, by the way. I've got, I didn't measure this out, but it's again to taste, chopped parsley, fresh parsley. And I've got my crushed garlic here. My eggs, I've got 4 here. I may not use them. As I add, I decide. And I've got my salt and ground pepper, so let's get started. As for the salt, again to taste, this is how I salt it. I salt the one side, okay, lightly, and then flip it over. I'm gonna have to wash my spoon because my hands touch the ground pork. And I'm gonna put the salt up there. And I'm gonna grate some black pepper. Now remember, it doesn't look like a lot of salt for all the ground pork that I have in there. There's a piece here. But you've got the grated cheese and there's salt in the grated cheese, so it will taste just fine. Okay, so we've salted it, ground pepper. Now I'm gonna put in my 1.5 cups of grated parm, my 1.5 cups of grated breadcrumbs. I'm gonna put in my chopped parsley. I didn't have fresh parsley once and I used the dried, which is fine, but fresh is always better, needless to say. And now I'm going to put in my crushed garlic. These are 2 garlic cloves that I put. And now I'm going to crack 1 egg. Two eggs. I'm gonna start with 3 eggs. Oh, and you know what I did forget, guys? I'm gonna just grab my bowl that I chopped my fresh parsley, a little bit of water, just a little bit though. I don't add milk, I'm not gonna lie. The thought of putting milk in my meatballs gives me the heebies, so I don't put milk. And I put water, just a little bit. Now, the fun part, we're gonna crush everything, the eggs I mean, and then we're going to mix everything, is what I meant to say. We're going to mix all this. Now this is what I'm going to do. This is why my baking sheet is out. Once I've got this all nicely blended and mixed together, what I do is I roll up my meatballs. You do it however size you want, but for example, this is about the size that I roll them up in. And I put them on my cookie sheet there and I put them in the freezer. When they're frozen solid, I take them off the baking sheet, cookie sheet, whatever, and put it in a Ziploc bag and keep it in my freezer. I freeze them raw, okay guys? I don't fry them or bake them first and then freeze them, because then it's like putting leftovers in your fresh sauce. To me personally, kind of defeats the purpose of making a fresh sauce if you're going to throw a leftover in, right? So I freeze them raw, and as you know, and you'll see today when I do the sauce, which I'm going to show you guys, when the sauce is boiling, that's when I throw in my meatballs. And then I put some aside fresh. I'm adding another egg because it looks a little bit dry. I may have to add a 5th egg. It all depends, right? So now we're gonna mix all this in. I think the 4 eggs is good. I don't think I'm gonna have to add a 5th egg. See that? Mix it all in, look how nice. And by the way, I can't remember, I'm sorry if I didn't mention, I use ground pork. I've once made half ground pork, half veal or half beef even, and my family did not like them. My mother always made it with just fresh pork, never added anything else. But again, everything is to taste. You can actually, the same recipe, just substitute the ground pork with ground chicken. And I make them little and I freeze them the same, put them in a Ziploc bag. When you make a beautiful soup from scratch, which I will be making shortly in the next couple weeks, we'll make a burrito, is how we say it in our dialect. A nice burrito, and we drop in the little chicken meatballs, which is awesome. When you prepare stuff like that and have them in your freezer, it just makes the experience of cooking something easier, and you look forward to it more because it's not as a lot of work, not as much work when you've got a couple of things already prepared for you. And again, I freeze them raw. This way I'm throwing them in my soup without it being, like I said, a leftover. Can't stand that. So now, see, I'm gonna start rolling, guys, and put them just straight on the cookie sheet. See that? Joe just went in nice and close. Thank you, Joe. And oh, this one looks a little bit big. Again, listen, you're not selling them, so you're not selling them by weight. So it's just all by sight, however big or small. These are nice. You want to know why? You could take a few out of the freezer of the meatballs, defrost them, mush them up in a bowl, add maybe a fistful of mozzarella and mix it up. You can stuff peppers. You can add cooked rice to them. Again, because they're raw. That's one of the key things. Because they're raw, you can use them for other things. So you can defrost them, add rice and mozzarella, and stuff peppers with them if you want even. So there's other things you can do with them besides making sauce. Ciao.